Welcome back to the Master and None, where if you are looking for expert advice, you are in the wrong place, my friend. However, if you're fixing to watch some fool get stung while messing with some bees, we might be able to arrange that. So let me show you what we got. All right, this is my new hive of bees. And by new, I mean they just moved in. I didn't buy them, they just moved in. So I left this hive here. I had 4 of them here. This was kind of my little miniature apiary last year. I had 4 hives here last year and they all just got taken out by yellow jackets. So this year, I didn't buy any bees and these bees just moved in. That was the luckiest thing ever. I've actually got 2 swarm traps up in the yard right now. Swarm trap at a friend's house. I left this one here knowing there was a possibility, but honestly, the reason I left it here was because I was out of room in my bee freezer, and I got a shed over there full of bee stuff, and it was just way too far away to get that in there. So what's in here is a whole bunch of drawn out comb, which is what they were attracted to, and I think there may have actually been a little honey in there. I doubt it's anything left after the ants got to it. So yeah, we'll show you what we got going on. So this is not the best practice. This problem with this hive here is I can't generally put an external feeder on it because that entrance is too small, but I wanted to get some feed on them. Since they were brand new bees, I just shoved that thing on there. It's not the best practice because you can get other bees coming and it can promote robbing. So I'm going to get in here and get an internal feeder. The biggest thing I want to do though is I have got these little bitty sugar ants all over this thing. I want to let these ladies kind of establish before I do much, but I'm seeing these sugar ants and I'm trying to make sure that they've got a way to fight all that. So biggest thing here, like this is my apiary. It hadn't been taken care of because I ain't got any bees in it. This is Oregon and weeds grow really fast. So I'm going to weed this whole apiary out. I'm going to get some mulch down, try to keep the weeds down. That's the goal for today, and then hopefully tomorrow I can get in there, find the queen, see how strong they are. They probably just need to be down in 1 box, not 2. And I got some frames of honey from last year that I can put in here to get them going. But that's the plan. Wish me luck. Alright, that's about it for today. Come out, finish doing some stuff tomorrow. But so far, we've kind of got the weeds down. That's a big problem because the ants can crawl up the weeds and get up into the box. So, and then the other thing we're going to do is kind of put cans around the bottom, and I'll show you that here. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, we're going to move that hive over to this stand, and I've got the cans in here, so you put a little water in those cans. Some people do oil, but that's to keep the ants from having a way up onto the stand. These ones here, they're kind of rusted through and leaking, so they're not working anymore, and the ants kind of have free range to get up on there. So we're gonna do that. And then this is just kind of the setup. So I usually put a hive there. We'll, after we move this hive, we'll get that hive, we'll get some stuff underneath there and clear that out so I can put a hive back there. But we'll put this one here, and then this over here I can usually get 2 hives on. So I can have 4 hives. I don't have 4 hives, but you know what? I didn't have one a week ago, and now I do. So we'll just go with that. All right, well, morning's come around. We're gonna get into this thing. It's kind of what I'm gonna do. I actually wanna go pretty quick here just because they're new bees. I'm not saying I gotta be completely Speedy Gonzalez or anything, but I don't wanna spend a ton of time in this hive. I wanna minimize their stress because they're not a very big hive. They're a brand new hive. I mean, worst case scenario, you get in there, you stress them all out and they abscond, and then you don't have bees anymore. So what I'm gonna do though, is get in here, kind of go quick. Probably gonna reduce this down to 1 box. They don't need to. They're just a really small hive right now, and I wouldn't be getting in here if it wasn't for the ants. Because of those ants, because here's a new hive that's already probably having to work really hard to get enough feed in there to feed themselves, and you got ants coming in and stealing the nectar, stealing the honey, stealing the feed. That's not a good situation. They're not big enough yet to really defend themselves, especially in a 2-box situation. You get them a lot bigger, they'll propolize the heck out of everything. They'll keep the ants out. They'll only have 1 entrance where the ants will be able to come in, and then they'll defend that entrance pretty well. But right now, they're just not a big enough hive for that. And like I said, I wouldn't be getting in there if it wasn't for the ants yet. I'd give them another week probably and just keep feeding them. But I want to make sure that I'm shutting that ant population down. I have lost a hive. Very first hive I ever had, I lost to ants. You don't lose a strong hive to ants. That's just kind of what I understand. I also have 2 frames of honey that I pulled out of my freezer. I got a freezer I keep all my bee stuff in. Kept a couple frames of honey back from last year. They're like half, one side's honey, one side's open brood. But that way they're getting some stores. So I've left those kind of out in the sun for a little bit because I don't want to just throw 2 ice cubes in there either. That's not real comfortable for them. So kind of left that out, get those a little warmer, and we'll get this open and we'll see what's inside. If they're really strong, if they're a lot stronger than I think, then I might spend a little more time in there. I'd like to find the queen if I can, and I'd kind of like to see if she's laying, see what's going on. But then, it's probably not going to be a very big hive. I'm probably going to be able to be in and out really quick. Also, I don't know, I don't claim to be the master or anything here. I graduated from YouTube University when it comes to beekeeping with Professors 628 Dirt Rooster and JP the Bee Man. So I'm not an expert here. So I'm just trying to do what I think what's best for these bees. Feel free to comment. Feel free to let me know what else you think I can be doing. All right, got the old ratty looking bee suit on. Let's see what we find in here. All right. So, first observation, there is nothing happening in this top box at all. So, although that is a really good frame of honey, there are no bees in this top box at all. So we're definitely not going to leave that on. Okay. Shoot, do we have anything in the bottom box? Anything at all. Well, this doesn't look good. Well, this doesn't look good at all. Huh. Well, I knew I was going to make it fast. I didn't know I was going to make it this fast. I was afraid there wasn't a lot of activity this morning. But I was literally just out here last night with them. And they have up and left. Either that or they up and never existed. All right, well that's fun. So what this could be, is I don't see any signs that there were any bees in there. What this could be is that these guys are just getting robbed out. This hive just had a few resources left in it, and what I was seeing, what looked like an active hive, was just my hive getting robbed out. So that's less exciting, but it is what it is. Good times. Glad I got all that work done to make the bee apiary look nice, but I ain't got no bees. Well, that's just kind of embarrassing. So I don't have a beehive. What I have is a feeding station for somebody else's beehives, and you can file this under Beekeeping Fails and what not to do. So, right. Good times. However, still a pretty good lesson on how to prevent ants from getting into your beehive. So we can take a look at that and try to save something here. All right, so yeah, this is kind of that can method where you put the post down into the cans, put some water in there. Another really good way to kind of keep the ants out is take a little petroleum jelly and go around the outsides of the can, because the ants can't crawl up the petroleum jelly. And that'll keep the ants out. I've tried things like, a lot of people talk about ants don't like cinnamon and ants don't like this and that and the other. Well, in my experience, they just walk right through it. But they can't get through the petroleum jelly. So that right there would be a beehive that would be difficult for ants to get into. It's too bad I don't have any bees in it. Well, it is a good thing I call this channel the Master of None. Allows me to post stuff like this. This was definitely a big bee failure, and you know, there's part of me that's just like, I really just should just shut this whole thing down and not post it. But I want to be able to learn from my mistakes. Your mistakes are really the best tool you've got for learning. So failure is always an option. I learned that from the Mythbusters. We failed today, and that's okay. The only true failure is when you stop trying. So we'll get back to beekeeping. Maybe not this year. We'll see if I catch any actual swarms. I do have some actual swarm traps out, so we'll see if those do anything. Definitely wouldn't be getting any honey out of them this year. But that's kind of the point of my channel. That's why I called it the Master of None. Is I really wanted to kind of just explore the idea that, you know what, I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not an expert beekeeper. I'm not an expert homesteader. I'm not an expert chicken keeper or any of that stuff. But I just do my best and I get it done, and I'm not afraid to try and make it happen. So that's what we did. We tried. We did not make it happen, and we'll see you all guys on the next one. So peace out, rainbow trout.